Hi, Kim here with An Oasis of Books, and can you guess where I am? I'm on a road trip, and if you stay tuned to the end of the video, you'll find out exactly where. And, well, now let's get back to the bulk of the video, which is the Dragon book tag. The Dragon book tag was an original tag created by Elaine over at Cobalt Dragon, and I was tagged by A.T. Pennington, whose channel is known as Away with Words. And I will link both of these channels and both of their videos down in the description below so you can check them out. And please do, because they've both done a wonderful job with this tag. Prompt number 1, inspired by The Hobbit, Smaug loved gold and shiny things. What book or series that you enjoyed features gold, shiny items, or has a shiny cover? Well, I didn't have to think long about this prompt because, well, I have a lot of books that feature gold, and that's because I have been reading about, studying, and writing about the California gold rush for many, many years. And I'm just going to share 2 books today with you, one fiction and one nonfiction, that I think are fantastic. So I'm going to start with the nonfiction one. This is by Will Bagley, With Golden Visions Bright Before Them. This is Trails to the Mining West, 1849 to 1852. It's actually part of the Overland West series. It's volume 2 in the story of the Oregon and California trails. Bagley makes great use of previously unpublished primary source material. So we have many excerpts from memoirs, quotes from letters, diary entries. I felt like this book filled a big hole in my research as it showed what these people were really thinking and expecting as they made their long way to the California West, and what they really thought when they got there and what their true experience was like. Now, this fiction book I want to share with you is called Bound for Gold. It is by William Martin, who is a best-selling author of many other books, actually, and this is a Peter Fallon novel of the California Gold Rush. So what this is a dual timeline novel. And Peter Fallon and his girlfriend are rare book dealers who apparently also can travel in time because they go back and forth between present and past, Boston and San Francisco. And I have only just started this book, but I'm already finding it super intriguing. Lots of mystery involved, and the setting, super well done. Characters seem to be developing already in a way that I can really appreciate. So yeah, I'm all for a dual timeline, and when it involves the California Gold Rush, I can't wait to see what this author has for me. If I like him a lot, then of course I'll read some of his other books too. Okay, prompt number 2 is Dancing with Dragons. Dragons and cats go together. Can I pause to say I did not know that? I was not aware that dragons and cats went together. If someone knows why and how that is, please tell me. And it says, do I have cats? Talk about a favorite book or series that features cats. Okay, well, I do have a few cats. In fact, I have 7 cats. Let's see if I can name them all. I've got Mitzi here in my room. She's a rescue cat, and she's just a doll. Lots of hair. Got to brush her all the time. And then I have Poe, named after the Star Wars movie. Finn, also named after a Star Wars movie. Smokey, Livy. Her name is actually Olive because I have a big olive orchard. Who else? BB-8, Star Wars movie. And she was an orange ball when she was born. She's 8 or 9 now. She's not a ball anymore, but she's still just as spunky. That's 5, right? Mitzi, Finn and Poe, Livy and BB-8. Who else do we have? Oh yes, my daughter rescued a cat, so that'll make 6. Frosty, he's only 2 years old now, full of energy. My dog Rhubarb loves playing with him. That's 6. Who am I missing? Who am I missing? Wait a minute, I don't think I'm missing anyone. I think I just miscounted. So we've got Finn and Poe, and we've got Livy and Smokey, and we've got Mitzi, my cat here, who you might hear scratching around at times, And then we have BB-8 and Frosty. Yeah, that's 7. Okay. Now, the rest of the prompt says, do I have any books I could recommend that have cats in them? Well, first of all, I'll just link up above the video I did recently about the series that brought me back to my love of reading, because I had been in a real reading slump. And so one of my daughters recommended this series to me, totally out of her genre, but she had loved it. And she told me it was post-apocalyptic and the characters were great and there was a talking cat. And I thought, oh, that sounds fun. I had no idea it was a lit RPG series, but yes, it was Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I absolutely loved it, binged all 7 books, and now I'm on the author Matt Dinneman's Patreon so that I can read his chapters as he writes them for book 8. But really, it's the characters, Carl and his talking cat, Princess Donut, who make this series come alive, who just bond with you in such a deep way. They're just great, so I highly recommend them. The other books I can recommend that very, very frequently include cats with interesting, unusual personalities, are cozy mysteries. I read a ton of cozy mysteries, and I read even more of them in the past, so I've got stacks and stacks of them. And 2 of the series that feature cats very strongly are The Cat in the Stacks mystery series by Miranda James. Now, this is one of the few cozy mystery series that features a male protagonist, Charlie. And Charlie has a rescued Maine Coon cat named Diesel. And together, the 2 of them solve all sorts of mysteries. This is a long-running series and many people really, really love it. So this might be one to give a try if you are in the mood for both cats and mystery. Now, this is another cozy mystery series that features a cat. This one's set in Maine, and Sarah is the owner of a charming little shop that sells all sorts of used items. She is all about repurposing, refurbishing things, and she has a cute little shop, and she has rescued a cat who she names Elvis, because he showed up at the bar when the band was playing one of Elvis's old songs. And then he hopped in Sarah's truck, and well, ever after that, he was just hanging around with her everywhere she went, including at the shop all the time. And everyone loves him. And together, Sarah and Elvis go around town solving mysteries, of course. Prompt number 3 is Dragonology. What crafts or hobbies do you enjoy? And do you have books about crafts and hobbies? Well, I'm one of those people who has a lot of hobbies, and I do enjoy crafts, but I tend to go in stages. So throughout my life, I've been involved with a lot of different crafts and hobbies. You know, in the past, I was into sewing and embroidery. And then there was a time where I was really into doing, well, I called it my little house phase. I was making my own butter, that type of thing. But right now, other than embarking on one new hobby, bird watching, which I've started collecting books for, and I've got binoculars, but I haven't really got into the actual doing it part. Other than that, today I thought I'd highlight hobbies that I've been doing for a very long time and will continue to do the rest of my life. 3 of them, in fact. One of them is perennial gardening, including my home orchards. Another one is baking of all sorts. And a third is California Gold Rush history, which I've mentioned previously. And yes, I do have lots of books on all 3 of these hobbies. I'm just going to show you a few of the many books I have. Starting with gardening, we've got Grow Your Own Mini Fruit Garden, Planting and Tending Small Fruit Trees and Berries in Gardens and Containers by Christy Wilhelm. And by the way, all the books to do with gardening have lots of wonderful photographs in them, as well as very understandable, usable text. Then we have the Home Orchard Handbook, a complete guide to growing your own fruit trees anywhere. This is by Kim Aiken and Leah Rotke, the Fruit Tree Planting Foundation. Another one I really enjoyed, The Holistic Orchard, The Tree Fruits and Berries, The Biological Way by Michael Phillips. Extremely useful and very up to date. And by a wonderful master gardener and orchardist, has so many great books published. just a real resource everyone should have their hands on. I have many books by him. Orrin Martin. This is Fruit Trees for Every Garden, an organic approach to growing apples, pears, peaches, plums, citrus, and more. Can't say enough about anything by Orrin Martin. And moving from orchards to more typical gardening. I can't really say typical because I'm not really a typical gardener. I love to experiment. I love to try things that are on the very, edge of my garden zone and kind of unusual things. So this is Edible Landscaping with a Permaculture Twist by Michael Judd. Fantastic book. So unusual. Really love it. How about Growing Your Own Cocktails, Mocktails, Teas, and Infusions? This is by Jody Helmer. Gardening Tips and How-To Techniques for Making Artisanal Beverages at Home. Used this one a lot. Now I grow my own actual tea plants. I mean, real tea. Not just all the herbs that I love using for all sorts of herbal teas, but real tea. That has just been really cool. And of course, who doesn't want to make their own cocktails? Grow something different to eat. This is the book that first turned me on to searching out really strange fruits like my medlar tree. Do you know what a medlar is? Basically, you're eating rotten fruit. And it is so delicious too, like spicy applesauce. Subtitle, Weird and Wonderful Heirloom Fruits and Vegetables for Your Garden by Matthew Biggs. I also like to get books that help me with my specific climate because I live in Northern California, Zone 9B in gardening language. I get super hot summers. Usually the temps in July and August range between 110 and 115, 16, 17, 18 Fahrenheit. We've had a totally unusual summer this year. It is the first week of August now, and we have not gone above 100 degrees yet. It's very, very odd. I'm not sure what's going on other than, climate change. But here we've got The Drought Defying California Garden, 230 Native Plants for a Lush, Low-Water Landscape by Greg Rubin and Lucy Warren. Another element of gardening that I like to focus on, I'm learning more about all the time, is native plant gardening. And this is for birds, bees, and butterflies, and specifically for Northern California. If you're gardening and you want to focus on anything, whether it's veggies and fruits, or you want to have the pollinator garden, or you want to have native plants, anything whatsoever, try to find a book that focuses on your specific area, or at least that gardens in a climate very, very similar to yours. That'll give you the most success. This book is by George Oxford Miller, and I've really been enjoying it. Okay, let's talk about perennials. I am all about perennial gardening because it's easier. If you plant them once and they never die, they come back year after year, or stay lush all year, or self-seed, which isn't technically perennial, but pretty much is just like perennial because you don't have to start them every spring. I love perennial plants, whether they're flowers, veggies, or fruits. All of them. Let's do them perennially. Now, if you live in a cold climate, it is going to be harder than living in a warm climate like I do, but I've done enough research on this now and watched enough YouTube gardening channels that are in colder climates to know there are a lot of plants, trees, herbs that you can grow perennial even if you live in a cold climate. And if I ever moved to a cold climate, I would not be dissuaded at all from having a perennial garden. It's the way to go. Growing herbs. This is the Kew Gardener's Guide to Growing Herbs, the art and science to grow your own herbs, put out by the Royal Botanical Kew Gardens. This is a gorgeous cloth cover, beautiful flowers, written by Holly Farrell, and I've just really enjoyed this. I do have a lot of other books on growing herbs, so why did I pick this one up earlier this year? Because it's beautiful, and I really like the illustrations inside and the layout of the material, as well as the recipes. Look at this pesto. Doesn't that look delicious? So yes, I'm always up for buying more gardening books on, well, just about anything I love to grow or would like to try to grow. Finally, a book I have to recommend to everyone that wants to get into gardening, whether it's for flowers, veggies, fruits, herbs, whatever it might be. Carol Klein's Grow Your Own Garden, How to Propagate All Your Own Plants. This is a fantastic book with step-by-step instructions on how to propagate, well, all your own plants. So, if there's any plant you want more of, or if you see it at a friend's house and you'd like to have some of your own, you can do it without spending any money. And this has really worked for me, and I'm so glad I found this book. Moving on to the second hobby I wanted to share with you. How about baking? This is the Big Book of Amazing Cakes. And as you can see, it's from the Great British Baking Show, which is a series I love to watch. It's so much fun, and I get so many ideas from it, just like I do from this cookbook. Swiss rolls. I've always wanted to make one, and I don't want it to crack like so many of the bakers do on the show. I want it to come out like this. So sometime I'm going to give it a try. How about white chocolate and blueberry cake? Or lime and coconut bundt drizzle? That looks scrumptious, doesn't it? Layered coffee cake? Can't go wrong with that. With this pear and hazelnut cake, I can use my own pears and my own hazelnuts. And well, that's pretty satisfying. And from one of my favorites on the Great British Baking Show, Bryony, comes dairy-free hazelnut mocha cake. I bake dairy-free around here almost always, and oh my gosh, doesn't that look delish? I also bake gluten-free a lot of the time, and look at this, gluten-free rhubarb and polenta cake. That really is unusual, and it sounds super good. And I grow my own rhubarb, so I can use some of it for this. I am definitely going to try this. I'll tell you how it turns out when I do. I love going on road trips, so whenever I do, if I spot a cookbook that's tied into the area that I'm visiting, I grab it. For instance, this is Favorite Recipes of Our Apple Hill Farm, celebrating 50 years of delectable dishes and farm fresh ingredients. Yeah, all about the apples. I think I have 4 or 5 cookbooks from Apple Hill Farms, which is an area about 2.5 hours southeast of me, right in the middle of gold mining country, where now there's vineyards and apple orchards as far as the eye can see. Lots of fun to visit there. And even though now I have my own apple trees, plenty of them, I still love to go there. And because in addition to getting apples there, you can try all their scrumptious treats. And now I can make those treats here at home with this cookbook and my own apples. Like I said, I often bake dairy-free and gluten-free, and this gorgeous cookbook, look at that cover. This is Baked with Love by Brittany Berlin, and its subtitle is Over 100 Allergy-Friendly Vegan Desserts. And so this is a cookbook, a baking cookbook you can give as a gift to someone who needs to eat gluten-free or dairy-free or both, or maybe they have nut allergies. There are so many scrumptious recipes in this book, which I guarantee you, if you have someone in your life, maybe even yourself, that has had to deny themselves so many desserts on so many occasions because of something they can't eat, they will love having this book. How about learning to make your own coconut caramel sauce? Look at these pecan pie bars. This is the cake I think that was on the front cover, lemon blueberry cake. Oh my goodness, is that fancy? But also so pretty and so yummy. Coconut lemon cake. You know, I love making coconut cakes, and I think I could learn something from the way these cakes are presented. I'm not very good with that, but this is very inspiring. And for something kind of unusual, how about banana bread cheesecake? Yeah, I bet that would be really good. Gonna have to try that. Are you getting hungry yet? I am. I'm gonna actually do a cozy cookbook video just about cookbooks because I have so many of them and I'd like to spend a little more time on them. The last one I'll share with you today is Sourdough Biscuits and Pioneer Pies, the Old West baking book. Now, I just love the cover on this, and I love the recipes, but more than that, I love the journal entries and such that are in here that tell where the recipe came from. It's real historical stuff here. It kind of goes right along with my California Gold Rush history. Now, this isn't a cookbook that features lots of gorgeous, colorful photographs, but it does give us lots of interesting information. For instance, ginger cake, it tells us where the recipe came from, the place, the time, the lineage it passed down through, and any little, interesting tidbits about it or tips on making it. And that's how almost all the recipes in here are. There's also little stories about different ingredients and how they changed over time. So yeah, this is one of my fun favorites. I mentioned that one of my main hobbies, very long-standing and will continue probably till the day I die, is California history. Specifically the Gold Rush times, but I also like things a little earlier and a little later than that. Now, I couldn't possibly share with you all the books that I have on California history, so I just wanted to show you one in particular and then just scan a few of my shelves. So this is the Historical Atlas of California with original maps by Derek Hayes. This is a spectacular book and absolutely irreplaceable when you're reading through California history, whether nonfiction or fiction, let alone writing about it, because it shows you not only where everything is, but where everything was and how it changed over time. All sorts of different maps, grids of towns as they developed, all different sorts of artwork from different times. This is San Francisco, 1846-47. Railroad maps, lots of history included in here too. Just an invaluable resource and so interesting. Some of my many very specific local California history books full of original photographs and documents. Just some of my California fiction here, and lots and lots of California nonfiction. There might be a couple of fiction mixed in here, but yeah. These are just a few shelves. I have so many more. Prompt number 4 is Dragon Art, and this one asks, do you have a favorite artist? What books can you share that feature artists? Your answers can be about any type of artist, musicians, authors, painters, etc. Well, I do love art. I love a lot of botanical art. Some of the sketches that were done, say by Audubon and others early in the exploration of the Americas is fascinating. But today I thought I'd share with you 3 books, which I adore, that represent my interest in California art. So one of them is on a specific artist, L.P. Latimer, California watercolor painter. This is by Alfred C. Harrison Jr. I pick up books like this when I go to art museums or art galleries, to exhibits, and they have something like this on hand. What I really enjoy about local artists is the same thing that I enjoy about local poetry, is that it features places that I can see today. For instance, this is a hiking trail in Ukiah, not far from where I live. And these 2 paintings were done in the Lake Tahoe region, which I travel to regularly, about 2 hours from here, because it's just so lovely every season of the year. Recently, I was at a library used book sale, which I haunt all the time, and I came across this book, California Impressionists. And I was very happy to snatch this up because I love Impressionism. And I'd never seen before one that centered on California artists. Benjamin Brown, Franz Bischoff, and the large one with all the gorgeous purples and oranges, that was done by John Gamble. These 2 paintings, such familiar sights to me. The ocean, we go to visit several times a year. And that's definitely a Northern California Bay Area scene that I have witnessed many times. And the oak trees, which grow all around me here in Northern California. What an interesting impressionist painting of that oak. Not all are landscapes, though. Look at this one, 2 Women by Colin Campbell Cooper. Also by Cooper, Cottage Interior. I just love the warm feeling that this painting gives. Then one of my favorite artists is Albert Bierstadt. Witness to a Changing West. I absolutely adore Bierstadt's paintings and done a lot of research into his life, and it was so fascinating. He went out on the track with pioneer explorers and he documented what he saw before the hordes of people moved west into California and Oregon. And so there's so much history in his paintings. Yes, it's very dramatic, some say melodramatic. And while I don't agree with the whole, manifest destiny philosophy that was rampant at the time, I do love the fact that we don't just have text documentation of what happened here in the 19th century. We have visual, and he was a big part of that, Bierstadt. Beginning photography at that time helped him recreate some of what he saw, say, of the Native Americans in later paintings. The landscapes just so stunning. Western Kansas, as they made their way across the country. Wind River Mountains in Nebraska Territory. One of my favorites, Sierra Nevada morning. So I hope you enjoyed that peek into California art. Prompt number 5 is how to live with dragons. And the question is, do you cover by? And what are some of your favorite colors? And then the second part of that is, what book or series did you enjoy that features dragons? I almost never do cover by, actually, because I'm pretty frugal with my book buying. I get a lot of my books from the library, from Libby, and read them online, or actually mostly from thrift sales, used book sales, library sales. And when I get a new book, it's often because it's in a series and I can't wait to find it used. So I go ahead and, use birthday or Christmas money or money I've saved to get it new. But as far as a cover pulling me in and really making me buy it, not usually. I will say it has happened occasionally though. And one of those times was this book, A Year Full of Flowers. Gardening for All Occasions by Sarah Raven. I absolutely love this cover. And yes, it's because of, those colors. They're just gorgeous. These are some of my favorite colors. I love autumn themed colors. Fall colors just bring me such peaceful, warm feelings. They make me feel content and happy. It is crazy how colors can make us feel so differently, right? Fortunately, when I opened it up, the inside of this book also said, "Buy me, buy me." The photography, so beautiful. I mean, it's not just about photography. There is lots of useful information in here too, but yeah, the photography, look at that. Stunning. So inspiring. So many ideas. Again, while also being practical. So yes, this cover is definitely what caught my attention first and foremost for this book. Now, as to what book or series I enjoy that features dragons, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I don't really have any. So if you know of, say, a good cozy mystery that features dragons, or a fun fantasy, not an epic fantasy, I don't really have time for those anymore. I have so many other books that I want to read, but maybe a cozy fantasy with dragons. I have a few cozy fantasies on my TBR that I haven't yet got to, and they might actually feature dragons. I'll have to look into that. Prompt number 6 and 7 are things that I can't really answer, but I sure wish I could. Prompt number 6 is star magic. Do you have a favorite constellation, and what is your favorite astronomy book? I don't, and I don't have one, but I would like to learn. I would like to learn about the constellations and have a favorite one. So send me any recommendations for great astronomy books. So thanks for sticking with me to the end of this video, and as a reward, you get to see exactly where I am. The sign behind me will tell you I'm at the Empire Mine, which is now a California state park. The mine was established in 1850, and well, I'll show you a few photos and clips.
Obviously, I'm not at the mine anymore. I actually ended up visiting the second gold rush site as well, and I did so much filming I decided to do a whole separate video on my California history road trip, so that will be coming up soon.
So do I look a bit disheveled? I should. I've been hiking around here for over an hour at the Marshall Gold Discovery Park at, the edge of the American River. As I've been traipsing around, I suddenly recalled that I skipped prompt 7 in my video yesterday, and that was Chinese astrology, share a book, about astrology or the movement of the stars. Unfortunately, I don't have a book like that to share, even though I would like to. I have been growing interested in astrology over the last few months. So if any of you are knowledgeable about astrology and know of a good beginner's guide, share it with me in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. So prompt 8 is actually just reminding me to tag some other people to do the dragon book tag. And so I will link in the description below all the people that I would like to do this book tag if you're so interested. So thanks for watching this dragon book tag video. And if you have any questions about any of the books that I showed, just go ahead and ask them in the comments. And if you don't have your own channel to do this tag, but you still want to answer the questions, do that in the comments. I'd love to hear from you about what you have to say about these questions. And until next time, I'm wishing you lots of happy reading. Look what I see here. Lots of historical fiction by Sharon K. Penman that includes dragons.